Local Gayliens, where things get weird and stay weird.
Yes, we talk about paranormal, the Hat Man, UFOs, but we keep it funny and fun.
Yes, definitely, always. My name is Brandon.
I'm Ashton.
And we are the Local Gayliens.
Woo!
So today we figured we would talk about like our reasons for wanting to do a paranormal podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone's like, okay, you're going to tell us stories, but why do you want to be involved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we some spooky bitches.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of weird things happen in my life. Like things I can't explain, or when I tell people, they're like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
And sometimes even freak me out a little bit because I'm just like, I can't believe that happened to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think this is going to be a really good episode.
Excited.
I have some really creepy stuff. I'm not going to lie. I think a lot of it too are things I haven't ever told you. So, yeah, this one's going to be creepy.
And probably things you have told me and I've just forgot about.
I mean, that's always a possibility.
Because we might have been drunk. Who knows?
Right. Honestly, with us, you don't know.
We're just like drunk in the club and you're like, bitch, I saw a ghost. And I'm like, awesome.
You're like, yes, queen. No, totally. So, and I know you have a lot of spooky experiences.
Yeah.
So,
I've been obsessed with the paranormal since I was little, honestly.
Yeah, I think even more than me.
Oh, well, okay, so I feel like you've probably had more experiences than me, but I think I'm more obsessed about the experiences I've had.
Fair. Fair. You're more like, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm more like, ooh.
You're like, I don't want things to happen, and I'm like, I want more.
Yeah, she wants to be taken.
I got a little taste, and I want more.
More? Oh my God. She's not even lying. Like, she's not even joking. She's over here like, we should try this. And I'm like, pump the brakes. I'm scared. Because I'm a chicken.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. I get scared very easily.
Yeah.
I love to be scared, though. I think that's why doing this with you, I think, was a really good idea, because I like to be scared.
Yeah.
But I will always run from it. I will never run towards it.
I think, like, at first I might run a little bit, but then I'm going to come back for more.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I just have to, like, process it for a second.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that was spooky. I want to see it again.
Yeah. That's fair. That is fair.
And it's also just, like, curiosity. Like, I'm so fucking fascinated with, like, the after... Not even just the afterlife, with, like, alien... Like, things that are just, like, unexplainable are so fascinating to me. And I think it's more just, like, out of my own curiosity of, like, I want to know how do you become a ghost? Do you get to pick? You know?
Oh, God, yeah.
You know?
Could you imagine? I mean, that's, like, your dream come true.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you died and they
but,
were like...
I only want to be a ghost if I can, like, do what I want to do. Like, I don't necessarily... It would be like COVID for eternity.
Ew.
If you were just, like, trapped in one house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, unless it's, like, have, like, people coming through. You know, there's always something new happening.
That's true.
But if you're just, like, haunting, like, one house for eternity, it's, like, COVID all over. You're just trapped.
Yeah, so you want to be a ghost.
Leave.
You want to be a ghost with, like, complete freedom.
Yes.
You're like,
I want to choose who I want to haunt. I want to choose what I'm capable of. Can I talk? Do you see me? Or do I just move things?
I would want all the powers. I would want all the powers of a ghost.
That, honestly, to me, is a superpower, being a ghost.
Yeah. Well, because if you could, like...
What superpower do you want to be a ghost?
Right, but, like, if you could talk and you could move things and everything as a ghost, like, I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah. That's the dream.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Ooh. The more I think about
it,
maybe
I do want to be a ghost.
Maybe.
But, like, only if it's like that. If it's not like that,
then no.
Then, like, I want to be reincarnated, probably.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe not here.
Yeah. That's
maybe on another planet.
Yeah.
Or a cat that lives at the Buxton Inn.
But as a ghost.
Yeah.
Because if you're an alive cat,
or you know what else I would love to be reincarnated as?
What?
Have you heard of, like, in, like, the Clintonville area and stuff, there's just, like, deer that, like, walk around and, like, people hand feed them in their backyards and shit?
Yeah.
I would specifically... I would specifically want to be reincarnated into a Clintonville deer.
That is so scary specific. Like,
also, the fact that I've thought about these things.
she's like, I could be an
I'm
antelope.
just like having my morning coffee and I'm like, you know what? It'd be really great to be a deer that lives in Clintonville. And
She's like, I could be a majestic mountain goat in the middle of Sweden.
well, so my reasoning is like, these deer, they're untouchable. Untouchable. Like, my friends who live there, they just hand feed the deer. The deer just like jump literally from like one person's yard to the next. They bring their babies. They have no fear. They're like, no one's hurting us here. We don't have to fight for our lives. And they just like chill. I mean, one time I was like drunk and I got dropped off at my friend's house and there was a big ass buck just like chilling in someone's front yard. And I was like, come here, little deer. It wasn't scared of shit. It just looked at me like, bitch.
I'm going to bring attention to this because it needs to be done. In a world of possibilities, I just want to make this very clear. In a world of possibilities, this bitch wants to be a deer in Clintonville. Not a majestic mountain goat in Sweden.
No,
not an Italian.
Like, I don't want to fight for my life. I already went through that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
in the Swiss Alps, though, there's what is?
You're like in nature, like dog eat dog world.
Well, right, okay, but like a deer in Clintonville, you're gonna get hit by a car.
No, you're not. Speed limit is 25 miles an hour. There are children.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. No, sweetie. I wish you all of the deer in Clintonville vibes. I want you to be a deer in Clintonville so bad.
So yeah, it's either a ghost where I can do whatever I want, or a deer in Clintonville.
I love it. I love that those are your two options.
Yeah.
She's dreaming big.
I am.
She's
Dreamer over here.
Oh my god, I love you so much. Oh my god. Okay. So I will start us off. So I'm gonna start from the beginning and I'll just move forward the more we go back and forth, okay? Because I've had a lot of supernatural experiences. Can't really explain any of them, but like they're legit. Like, I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to tell you something I don't believe happened. Like, they're legit. Enough to scare me to the point where I don't really like talking about it. But we're going to, because that's what we do.
Yay!
So one of the first experiences for me, I lived in Newark. And I lived in a house on Neal Avenue. I'm not going to say the exact address because it's not fair to the people who live there now.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a bedroom at the top of our stairs. And then in my bedroom, there was a closet. And inside the closet, there was another door. And it led to the attic. Okay, so I was already very much scared of this bedroom. But I was the oldest. It was like the biggest room. And
it was a big boy room.
Yeah, it was a big boy room.
And it came with big boy responsibilities.
Exactly. I was like 12, I think. Okay. Like, that was the age. That's what we're going with. Somewhere between 10 and 12. And yeah, I was excited. I had my own room. The only thing I didn't like was the attic. So I would pile up things against the attic door in my closet. I'm scared. I'm a chicken. I told you this. But first having the room, that was when I first stopped like sleeping very well. I just remembered I would always wake up being tired and I just was not getting sleep and never really figured it out. Well, one night I had fallen asleep and you know how you get that feeling like something's looking at you, like you're being watched. I was laying there and I in the middle of my sleep, I felt like I was being watched. And I opened my eyes and I sit up and in the doorway to my bedroom, there was a man.
Oh no, we hate strange men.
We do.
When we're 12.
We do. So there was a man standing in my doorway. He wore a black, almost like overcoat, like an Undertaker, like jacket.
Like a Men in Black?
No, not like a suit.
Oh,
More
okay.
like a big like rain
Okay.
like overcoat type deal, and couldn't see his face.
That's creepy.
Like the face was there, but like it wasn't.
Was it just like dark?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't like make out the features.
Yeah, very much that. Yes. And he wore a top hat. And that's what I saw. And I tried to speak to him. I was very much awake. And
so you weren't like screaming?
No, I didn't feel. I felt scared, but I didn't feel threatened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So normally you would think, Brandon, you're gonna scream.
Literally, you wake up and you scream, "Mom, there's a man
Right.
in my door."
Right.
Yeah.
So I did not feel the need to yell, but I remember it was like he was staring just at me, just staring.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him questions like, "Hello?" I was like, "Hello?" Like, "Who are you?" And nothing.
Oh
Complete
no, we
silence.
hate that.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And so I remember I was just like, okay. And eventually I think I just like laid back down and went to sleep. I don't remember how our interactions would end.
It's like the woman at the Buxton Inn.
Yeah. So I would not remember how our interactions ended.
Yeah.
But I saw him every night for almost a year.
Are
every
you
night.
serious?
Every night. I told my mom about it, and my mother was like, "Brandon, you're just dreaming, and it's not real." But it was always the same thing.
Oh
It was,
my gosh.
he never spoke to me. He never really moved. He just stood and stared. And I just knew it. When I would wake up, he would be there.
Yeah.
And then one day, I woke up and he was gone.
So sounds like Hat Man.
Yes. So I did some research, and I found out that a lot of people experience this entity, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. A lot of people experience this. We're not going to deep dive into it right now because I think we can do a whole episode about it.
Yeah.
But that was kind of what kicked off I feel like that was the catalyst for all of my experiences.
Well, because like I mean, we'll talk about this when we do an episode, but I know like the Hat Man's supposed to like represent something.
I think it's like stress.
And so I'm like, oh, I thought it was death.
I don't think so.
I thought it meant like if you were seeing the Hat Man, like there was like death around you. So I was about to be like, what was going on that year? But I mean, it could be stress too.
It could be. I don't know. We'll have to do some more research. We'll have a whole episode about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I didn't know. I always thought it wasn't particularly bad because nothing bad really came from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say him because I don't want to give it that. I don't know.
It could be they.
Yeah, it could be whatever. I don't know. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that was like the kickoff to my weird experiences after that. I also want to preface all of this, everything I'm going to say today. When I was young, I mean, very young, like I'm thinking like 3, 4, I'd have to clarify, 3, 4, 5, around that area. I did die twice. How do
I not know this about you?
I had fever seizures when I was really little, and my mom was like, I know one story she told me. She was in the kitchen, and she came out of the kitchen, and I was just in the living room watching cartoons, but when she came into the living room from the kitchen, I was on the ground, just purple. Like I had, yeah.
Did you like come back, or did she have to take you to the hospital and then you get
911, there were like bathtubs full of ice, like that kind of scenario. And I think I had 2 of them.
What?
Yeah, I think it happened to me twice. The first time, Mom thought I was dead. The second time,
my gosh,
she
your
knew
poor
more.
Mother, bless her heart.
I know.
Bless that woman's heart.
Causing stress since I was so small.
Came out of the womb.
Right, but I feel like everyone I have talked to about my supernatural experiences says that's where...
I mean, they say it's really common for people to have experiences after, like, a death experience or a near-death experience or, like, coming back.
So I think that's where a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today, I think that's where maybe something, like, was triggered in my body that allows...
you to have a connection to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of it. Like, and you'll see why when I tell you guys here soon. You'll find out why. But, like, it's... because they're not all been good. But they've not all been bad either. But yeah, we'll dive into it. But that's just kind of how my journey started. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my first little story.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll just, like, preface, like, my great-grandmother, I think. This is just all, you know, according to stories my mom told me. I never met her. But I guess, like, my great-grandmother was, like, a very, like, spiritual woman. And... I guess, like, what you would consider, like, a witch in some sense. Like, Mom said that she would have, like, she would just, like, know things before they were going to happen. But, like, never, like, I wouldn't say, like, practicing. Like, it was just kind of, like, you know, like, on the down low.
It just, like, happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she was, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, like, a little, like, family-known thing about Grandma and her, like, spiritualness. Whatever. Okay, so then my grandmother... she's very much, like, doesn't believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
But there have been situations where, like, she has, like, known things were going to happen before they happened.
Okay.
So then my mother, we just kind of have a lot of, like, sensitivity that, like, runs in our family.
Okay.
That, like, hasn't been necessarily, like, recognized as that. But then, so my mother has had experiences when her grandmother died. She, I think, was in the shower one day and, like, heard her grandmother singing after she passed away.
Ooh.
My mom has, like, seen shadows when I think my older sister was younger. And then my mom told me this story once of where she woke up and was, like, paralyzed and something grabbed her ankles and, like, pulled her to the end of the bed. And she just, like, started, like, praying and it let go. So, like, my mom, I was raised from a very young age, like, knowing about ghosts. Like, no, like, it wasn't, like, a hush-hush, like, that doesn't exist, we don't talk about it. Like, my mom believed in it.
Okay.
It was, like, an open conversation when I was younger.
Okay.
So, but I would say, like, the first time I ever personally, like, had some type of experience, like, I grew up having night terrors all the time when I was a kid. I never, like, slept well. What I was seeing during these night terrors, I don't know. My mom would find me, like, screaming in the corner of my bedroom, like, eyes wide open, but, like, not present. And she said I would be, like, staring at something in the corner, like, screaming my lungs out.
Ew.
And then I also was a sleepwalker. So I was a creepy kid. But we had moved to the house that my parents still live in to this day out in Newark.
Yeah.
And I think I was in, like, second grade. And I was basically framed by a poltergeist.
Okay. Wait, okay, hold on. There was a poltergeist that decided, listen, I'm gonna get this
It's
bitch.
like, this is a spooky bitch.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can get away with and blame it on her.
So is this gonna be, like, the first one you remember?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay, cool. That's where we're at.
So I was in second grade, and we would have, like, those things at school where they'd have those little fairs where you could go and buy, like, books and, like, the, like, little book fairs.
Yeah.
And there was this juggling.
Oh my god,
book.
I know what you're talking about. Like, the book bus?
Yes!
Oh my god, I was obsessed with
Me too!
The
best day ever!
Yes! Oh my god, you got, like, $3, but, like,
Yes.
that $3 was sacred.
Gold.
It went
Gold.
places back then.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, side note.
So, I don't even know if I bought it, if one of my sisters bought it, because I have two sisters. But we got this juggling book. So it taught you how to juggle, and it came with, like, the 3 balls to, like, you could use to juggle.
Juggling, yeah.
So we, like, got it out one night, we were playing with it, and then we put it away, went to bed, next day, tried to get it out again, but one of the balls was missing. And so we just genuinely, like, we looked high and low for this ball, could not find it anywhere. And, you know, it's, like, one of those things where, like, you lose something and then, like, years later you're, like, deep cleaning and you're like, oh, my gosh, like, I found the ball under the couch or something.
Yeah.
So we thought it was going to be, like, a situation like that. And so, my mom was sleeping one day and my dad would get up really early to go to work, and he got up and came in the room to, like, kiss her goodbye. And he's like, oh, where did you guys find the ball? And my mom's like, we didn't find the ball. And he was like, oh, it's sitting in the middle of the kitchen counter. So it was just, like, chilling there
man.
by itself.
Yeah.
Nothing else around it. None of us found it and put it there. We don't know how it got there.
Oh, no. It's like the ghost was like, listen, here, you can have it back.
Yeah, it was like, you guys gave up way too easy. Here we go.
Oh, my God. I love that the ghost was just like, you guys are weak.
Yeah.
The ghost was like, you guys are so weak.
He's like, you guys didn't lose it. I fucking took it,
it's
bro.
literally right there now.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, you didn't even look hard enough.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. That's actually funny.
So, that was, like, the first thing that happened. But, of course, Ashton, she sleepwalks. Ashton did it.
Oh, they were blaming you.
Yeah, so, and, like, we knew it was weird, but I feel like it was kind of like, is this something, or did Ashton do it?
Yeah.
And...
oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just making it up.
I'm a sleepwalker.
Yeah, like,
so,
maybe...
like, of course, Ashton, somehow in my sleepwalking, I took the ball and I hit it, and then I brought it back a week later.
Oh, my God. Like, come on. There's a certain point in time where you got to be like, okay, this isn't normal.
Yeah. And so then, oh, and I'll just tell you the very first thing that happened, actually, before the ball incident even happened. So we had cats, and they were outdoor cats, barn cats, but we would let them come in during the night and stay in the basement. And we had this big tomcat, and so my mom was, like, carrying the cat down into the basement for bedtime one night, and I'm in the bathroom, me and my sister are in the bathroom, and my mom just comes running into the bathroom, like, tears. She took off her shirt, and it looked like someone took a knife to her back, just, like, claw marks all over her back. She was taking the cat down to the basement, and he freaked out and, like, clawed down her back, like, wanted nothing to do with it. He was like, I am not staying down here.
Oh, my gosh.
The cats, like, would not sleep in the basement after that.
I don't blame them. I hate
So, yeah, that was actually the very first thing that happened in this scenario.
So just, they're, like, terrified of the basement.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
See,
the cats, like, won't stay in the basement.
I don't like basements.
And, of course, like, cats are also, like, fucking weird. So, like, didn't think anything of it.
Well, it's like cats and dogs and stuff like that
Yeah.
are sensitive to...
Yeah, but, like, we weren't thinking, like, oh, there's something in the basement they're
well,
scared
yeah,
of. We're
no
just
one wants
like,
to go there
oh,
first.
the cat's being a little bitch.
Yeah, like, no one wants to go to that place first.
Yeah. Well, so then after that, this, like, ball thing happened. And then it's
okay.
like, no, like, Ashton's a sleepwalker. Like, let's
chill.
It doesn't make sense.
Let's chill. Yeah, they're trying to be, like, rational.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Like, that was kind of like... So, the Hat Man thing, like, I think that's why my mom was like, it's a dream. It's a dream.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because we don't want to say, no, that happened.
Yeah.
We want it to be rationalized as human beings. So I get that, but like, you know better.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I know better.
And I'm like, even though I don't remember any of my sleepwalking scenarios, I was just known as the girl who would get up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, my mom would find me, and I just blank face, no talking. Like, I am not one of those sleepwalkers, like the girl on TikTok that's like running around yelling shit.
Yeah,
you know what I
love
mean? Like,
her.
that's not
She's
me.
hilarious.
That's just like not my vibe as a sleepwalker.
Right. But like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm like a pretty basic sleepwalker.
Well, thank God.
I don't do anything exciting.
Right. Which makes the story even more...
Yeah.
Ugh.
Except there was one time.
I would be... No, not yet.
Well, it wasn't paranormal.
Oh, okay.
My mom was sitting at the computer and I was sharing a bedroom with my little sister. And I came downstairs, my mom said. And I was like, Mom, we have an emergency. And she's like, what? And I was like, Savannah has snow in her nose.
Oh my God. You were like, my sister's doing coke.
And I was like, so concerned.
I love that you were like, my sister's doing coke.
And so then
funny.
my mom had to like assure me that she was like gonna come check it out, and then I just turned around and went back to bed.
I'm not gonna lie though, as a kid I would beat your ass.
That was the most exciting thing I did as a sleepwalker.
As a sleepwalker, I would beat your ass. Like, that scares me Like people.
Oh yeah, it was. I told you I was a creepy kid. Like it's creepy.
No, that scares.
But my mom was also used to it.
I would beat your ass.
And then one time I like stayed the night at a friend's house and I climbed over the baby gate and her mom found me in her brother's bedroom petting his head. I just did like some creepy things, but I didn't take balls. I wasn't out here stealing balls.
Oh, you took balls.
That was a long time ago. Brandon.
Okay. Oh my god. No, but seriously, like, no, that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the ghost story.
Oh, it's not over?
No.
Oh
there's
my god.
More.
For that one?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so like found the ball, whatever, Ashton did it. And then I don't know like timeline wise when this, like, I don't know if it was like a week later, a day later, a month later. I don't remember. But the next thing that happened is I woke up and like we would always get ready for school in my mom's bedroom because remember I was like only in second grade.
Yeah.
So I remember like waking up, coming downstairs. I'm like so groggy, half asleep. My mom hands me clothes and she says, "Here, fold these." And I'm like, "Bitch,
yeah,
I'm in second grade.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know how to fold clothes."
I'm not folding
and so
that.
I like take the clothes and I'm like, it's what, 6:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I'm not folding that.
And so I like fold the clothes and then I set them down. So it was like a test my mom was giving us because unbeknownst to me, that night, my older sister, she had her own room and she had this like really important thing for school. So she like laid her clothes out all nice on like this chair in her room so they wouldn't wrinkle.
Yeah.
And when she woke up, the clothes were gone.
Ew.
And my mom looks around the room. My sister had a clothes hamper in her room, and the clothes hamper was like pulled out from the wall. They open it, the clothes were like folded up, like nice, like a professional folded, laying in the hamper.
Ew.
And so, like, because everyone thought it was me sleepwalking, doing all this shit, that's why when I woke up in the morning, my mom was like, "Here, fold these," because she wanted to see if I could fold them the same way they were folded in the laundry, and obviously they weren't. And so I think that was like the first time that my mom was like, "Shit, I don't think this is Ashton."
Oh my god. When I tell you, like,
Yeah, I think she was like, "Shit,
we
got some in this house." And like my mom would also
good for like, her though for trying to be
after the fact when she would like reflect, like my mom would stay, she still does, she'll stay up till like 3 a.m. on like the computer or whatever out in the living room. And so like that was like a common thing for her back then, and she would talk about how like she would feel like the hairs on the back of her neck stand up like someone was watching her. But I don't know, we lived out in the country, like
right.
Someone could be watching from
yeah,
it doesn't, just because you feel like someone's watching you doesn't necessarily mean they're like in the room with you.
I feel like a lot of people that live in the country like get that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just because I mean,
it could be an animal, whatever.
Yeah,
but then like when this stuff started happening, then my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, like is there like a spirit that is like watching?" And I'm like feeling it, and so like that stuff happened. I know there's like probably a few more things that happened that my mom experienced herself, but just like, you know, we were kids,
so yours was like very poltergeist-esque.
Okay, so my mom, dental hygienist, she had a patient when this was all happening and was like talking to him about what was happening, and he straight up was like, "You don't have a ghost, you have a poltergeist."
Yeah.
And like that's when we learned there's a difference. So like ghosts are what you see, poltergeists are the ones that can like move things, and they're like tricksters.
Yeah.
And so he was like explaining to my mom that like poltergeists will show up a lot when like young girls are going through puberty and stuff, 'cause they feed off that energy. And like my older sister was like at that age where she was like starting to go through puberty, so like it kind of makes sense why it all happened. But then also my mom thinks it might have followed us from our previous house when we moved, because when she would feel like the hairs were standing up on her, she was like, "I got that same feeling at our old house, but we had a creepy neighbor," and so she always thought the neighbor was watching her.
Yeah, but see, poltergeists don't follow people. Poltergeists stay
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive that they stay in that location. Usually if something's following you, it's attached to you, it's usually like worse.
Because then I was convinced, like, what if I opened something? Because when I was in second grade before we moved, I had this best friend and we would like do creepy things together.
Yeah.
And she told me about the Bloody Mary thing. And
Ew,
so
no.
I went into the bathroom at our old house and did the Bloody Mary challenge.
So that's like a whole other...
I know, but then I was like, shortly after we moved, all this stuff happened, and then when my mom thought it was something that had followed us, I was like, shit, did
right.
something happen when I did Bloody Mary?
No, I hope not. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, I never did shit like that as a kid because I was like, absolutely not. I know better. I'm not doing that.
I was like, well, my friend was like, she was very creepy too, and she's like, she pressured me.
Yeah,
like,
not me.
Don't be a little bitch.
It won't be me.
And I was like, I'm not a little bitch.
Would not be me. I'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but basically, so after the like clothes thing, and I mean, I feel like there had to have been like more stuff that like we weren't even aware of because like my mom was pissed. My mom was like, this shit ain't happening. I think she also like after talking to the guy, knowing poltergeists can like progress in their behavior.
Yeah.
I think she was like, we gotta shut this down.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what she did. I think she like went around every room in the house and like basically like told it had to leave, did some spooky stuff.
Yeah.
And then
honestly,
like
some cleaning, like some cleansing.
And like when all this was happening, we were kind of like making a joke about it too, because I think it was easier to joke about it than like
you don't
think about it being scary.
Mm-mm.
So we named it.
No, see, okay.
And
so what
we were
no.
very progressive back then because we were like we had to pick a gender neutral name.
Nope.
So we named it Bobby.
No. See, this is what happens. So you get people like her who cause shit because they're like, okay, let's give it a name, let's give it a location,
Ghost deserved names too.
But that's the thing, you haven't identified that it's a ghost.
Well, at the time we thought it was.
Right, but like the number one rule when it comes to these things is you don't name them.
I know, but we were like baby spookies
Nope.
back then.
Nope.
We didn't know any better.
No.
We didn't know any better.
Mm-mm.
This was in what, the 90s?
No.
We didn't know any better.
What she meant was we were dumb. That's what she meant. We were dumb. Absolutely not. You don't talk to it. You don't name it. You don't. These are all like the rules.
Well, I know that now.
Yeah.
So when my mom was like, this thing gotta go, she straight up told me and my sister, she's like, no one is to ever talk about Bobby again.
No. Don't even name it.
And
take away the name.
But now it's funny though, because like obviously years later and like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Like stuff quit happening after that. But now my parents are like older and every time they like lose something, we like joke. We're like, Bobby might have taken it.
Ew, Ashton. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Never living with her.
Now we can just like look back on the event and like reminisce, good times.
Yeah, just sweet little memories from childhood. Nothing scary, just sweet little memories.
But I'm not gonna lie, it's weird because like when it was all happening, I don't remember being scared about it.
Yeah.
But then like when I was around like middle school age and we would like talk about it, I was really fucking scared for some reason.
Yeah, that adds up. That adds up. Okay, well, so I'm gonna throw in like some little things, and then I'll get to like a big one that has affected me into adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a lot of, I guess a lot of people would say, almost like psychic experiences that weren't, they didn't feel, I can't really categorize them as paranormal. Even though being psychic, that would be considered paranormal.
Yeah.
When I think paranormal, I think ghosts, aliens.
It's all.
Yeah. So growing up, after the whole Hat Man thing, I had little experiences. So I had a lot of dreams as a child. I had some as adults, which I will talk about now. But I started having dreams sometimes that would come true. So, my mom at the time was dating a car salesman, and he worked at a car dealership in Columbus, a very big one, a very well-known one. I'm not going to say it. You know which one it is. And while he was there, I had a dream one night that there was going to be an accident. I was like, I woke up and I was like, Mom, like, you got to call him. There's going to be an accident, like a car accident. And she was like, Brandon, like, it's not a big deal. Like, it was just a bad dream. You know, he works at a car lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, of course you're going to think he's going to have a car accident. Well, the day after I told my mother that, there was a car that had went off the road and flipped into his car lot.
Oh, shit.
And landed upside down.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So my mom told me, like, this happened. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I felt like I was That's So Raven. Like, you know, I was like, it's the future.
You're
I
like...
can see. Yeah, I was like, I can see the future.
Raven.
And so didn't think any, I was like, oh, that's weird. Just a weird coincidence, right? And that's kind of how my mom wrote it off. Well, flash forward a little bit longer. We ended up living on a farm in Dayton, and we had horses. Okay. And I remember I got a little more into like crystals, and like I was curious as a teenager. I was curious about the psychic world. I was very curious about it, and I dabbled. You know, I checked out books from the library. I got involved.
Oh, shit.
I know, and I didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I got involved, and I wasn't doing like seances and all that shit. I was just like, I was reading about it. I was reading about techniques to expand your mind and things like that. And I was like, well, this seems like a good idea. Like, I should at least know how, you know, to like
control it.
Yeah, take things into my own hands.
Yeah.
So I started to do that, and then we lived in Dayton, and I remember one of the horses got pregnant, and so I was out there, and I went to like pet her, and she was a very aggressive horse anyway. And she ended up biting my thumb and taking a piece of my thumb off. So my thumbs are uneven at the tip, but this happened, okay? So that went to the hospital, everything, got it fixed. That night, went to bed, okay? And she was due to have a baby anytime, okay? And the mother was an all-black horse, and the father was an all-black horse, okay? So obviously we think maybe baby's gonna come out all black. Have a dream about the baby, the horse.
Aww.
And I remember very specifically when I woke up, I told my mom, hey, I had this dream about this horse, and there was like, it's gonna have white spots, and like it looked like a state, like one of the states in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one off the top of my head right now, but I remember explaining this to my mom, and she was like, okay,
She's
like
cool. Cool story, bro.
Great. And this was early. This was like 5 a.m. or some shit. Like, I was up early. And so my mom goes out to the barn, and we hear a scream.
Yeah.
And so mom comes back in and comes right to me and is like, did you go to the barn? Did you go out to the barn this morning? And I was like, no.
Oh, God.
And she was like, you should go to the barn. You should go out to the barn. And I was like, okay. So went out to the barn, and there was a baby. And it was black and white.
Oh, my God.
And it had the exact mark on its side.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
wow.
I don't know if it was the horse bite, like that, just like, like she had passed it into me, like onto me or something, like the animal sense or something in that moment. And yeah, and there it was,
so cool.
Plain as day, right there.
I love it.
Yeah. And then I'm just kind of telling you this to build up to like something really bad that happened.
Oh, God.
I moved in with my good friend Josh.
Shout out Josh.
Yeah, shout out Josh. We're living together, and I'm going through I would say a pretty stressful time. Like, I'm having a stressful time. Like, I love living with Josh. I love living with my friends and things like that. I just think it's awesome. But I'm trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to trying to grow up here. And at this point, I'm in my early 20s. Like, I didn't really have too many experiences in between the horse and where I am now. I think when the horse happened, I was...
Is this the apartment that you were at?
That you came over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, when the horse thing happened, I was like 16, I think, is where I was. And then we're flashing forward to now my early 20s. So this is where things get a little intense. I was going through a stressful time, and I just remember my dreams were like, they were getting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was drinking a lot because I was partying.
We
were drinking a lot. Early 20s, guys.
Good
okay?
Good times.
Both
spiraling.
Great times. So one night, I was laying in bed, and I remember I fell asleep with my door open. And I never sleep with my door open. I have a rule against sleeping with anything open. Yeah. I close all doors in my bedroom. Bathroom door, all
Probably
of it.
because the Hat Man.
I close them all, including my closet. Absolutely my closet.
Mm-hmm.
So, close everything, and I go to sleep. This time, I did not. I fell asleep in my room, door open.
Yeah.
So, in this apartment, looking out my door for the bedroom, I could see the light from the kitchen. And it was pretty open, so I could see the light from the kitchen because we always left the light on above the stove.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I could see down there. And I guess I felt comfortable and fell asleep. And so I woke up, and when I woke up, I was experiencing sleep paralysis.
Mm.
So
I hate that for you.
My eyes opened. I could see everything. I was a little scared, but I didn't feel imminent, like, fear. I wasn't like, you know, a lot of people experience sleep paralysis, the instant fear.
Yeah.
I knew I was okay, I guess. Like, I knew I couldn't move, but I was, like, telling myself I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm laying there. And Josh was like me. He slept with his door closed. And so I'm looking down the hallway because I can see. And Josh's door
I hate this.
slowly starts to open.
Oh, no. We don't do doors that open.
And so as the door's opening, I'm telling myself, okay, good. Josh is coming out.
Oh, God.
I can get his attention, and maybe it'll jolt me away, like, to move.
Yeah.
Because I had read about sleep paralysis. I knew what it was. So I was like, okay, Josh is coming out. My mind's awake, but my body's asleep, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, I just got to wake my body up. So the door starts opening. I get excited because I'm like, finally, I'm going to be able to wake up.
Yeah.
And then something comes out of his room. I'm going to describe it for you. I'm already getting goosebumps because I don't talk about this often. So I see an arm come out of the room, almost like in an arching.
Oh, God.
And it's huge. It's long. It's very long and skinny. And it places the arm out, and then it moves out slowly and turns towards me. And it is almost bone thin.
That's disgusting.
It had stringy hair.
No.
It had stringy hair. It was not thick hair at all. Just like, I would say like 15 to 20
Not
strands.
even a ghost, baby.
I know. And it came out into the hallway, and it stopped, and it stared at me for a minute. And I was staring at it. And then it went down on all fours.
No.
I know.
No.
I swear to God. I swear to God. Every day. This is the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. It crawled down the hallway next to my bed. And at this point, I'm trying to move to turn on the light in my room because the light is off.
Yeah.
The only light I have is from the hallway. And I feel it get right here, and I can feel its breath on me. I couldn't smell it. I can't recall a smell. But I just remember feeling the hot breath. And then all it said was, "Welcome home, Brandon." And then I was able to move my arm and turn on the lamp because I had a pull cord. So I was able to pull the cord, and my whole body jolted up. And I sat straight up, right?
Yeah.
I sat straight up. The light was on. And I looked down the hallway, and Josh's door was still open.
So you're like, that actually
It
happened.
was not closed like it was when I went to bed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Welcome home, Brandon.
Yeah, literally, that's what it said. And I mean, I've got chills right now thinking about it.
How long were you living there when this happened?
We had been there 6 months.
And how long until your lease was up?
About 6 more months.
Okay.
So that happened at that apartment. Like I said, going through an immense amount of stress, like trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
And so that happened, right? And I called my mom. I told her about everything that happened, and she was like, "Stay calm. It was probably just a dream." My mom is big.
Everything's a dream.
My mom is so big on saying
You're
it was
like,
probably
Mom,
just a dream.
you know by now.
So, a month after that,
Yeah.
okay? A month after that, I've had some drinks. I'm feeling alcohol opens you up a lot, like, you know. So I've had some drinks. I'm feeling really hard buzzed, okay? Go to sleep. At this point, my grandma passed away. I had gotten a phone call the night she passed away. I woke up before the phone call happened. I woke up and I was awake, and then my phone rang and my mom told me. I knew something bad had happened.
Yeah.
So she told me, hey, like, this is what happened. And I sobbed because I knew it had already happened. I hadn't seen it or anything, but I knew it had happened in my gut. I knew it had happened.
Yeah.
Very strong connection with. So, a few days after that, like, not even a few days, I think it was like a week. Funeral had happened, everything had happened. I'd gone to Kentucky, everything. Fell asleep, had this dream about my grandma, and she was just talking to me. I wasn't really talking to her, but in the dream, she was just telling me things. None of it made sense to me, right? She was like, "You're enough. You deserve happiness." Like, all these things that I was just, nothing was a coherent conversation. It was just like, I don't know. I was like, I don't get it. So I call my mom the next day when I'm inebriated again. And I remember, because remember, 20s, I'm partying. Inebriated again, and it all hits me at once. Like, I remember everything she said. And so I call my mom, and we're still dealing with her passing. Like, it's still soft. Yeah. And so my mom didn't go to the funeral. It's complicated. I won't explain. It's complicated. And so my mom had gone to her grave after the fact. And so I call my mom, she answers the phone, and I tell her everything that Grandma had said to me in the dream. And my mom is crying on the phone, and I'm just like, "I'm sorry, like, I didn't want to upset you. I just wanted to tell you about my dream because, you know, it was Grandma. It felt like Grandma. I just wanted to tell you about it, you know." And she basically told me, like, "I can't talk right now." And she hung up. And so she called me the next morning, and I was like, "Hey, are you okay? I'm sorry. I didn't want to upset you. I just wanted to tell you about my dream that happened." And she said, "I'm sorry I couldn't talk to you. I was just super emotional. But I have to let you know, like, everything you told me were the answers to all the questions I asked her at her grave."
Oh my god.
I know, I'm a little emotional thinking about it. Like, it makes me a little emotional. But yeah, like, my grandma had come, I felt like visited me and gave me all the answers for my mom. I know. So it was that was one of the ones where I was like, that was just, I needed that. You know what I mean? It went from being this awful, horrible, terrifying thing that just happened to it being this beautiful moment where I was allowed or given the gift to give my mom some peace. Yeah. And that's why it didn't make sense to me. Yeah. Was because she was just giving me the answers to my mom's questions. Yeah. And I was just supposed to tell my mom.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah. My mom, to this day, that is one she does not deny. Yeah. Because she said there was no way for me to know. Yeah. I wasn't at the grave with my mother. I was in a different state. So that one, I think that is the reason why I stay involved with these kinds of things. I don't know, they make me feel better. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the same thing happened with my friend Ashley's dad, who passed away. She had written down a bunch of questions for him, and she let me read them, and then I was able to answer them for her, which was, again, I'm not claiming, I want to make a disclaimer, I am not claiming to be psychic in any way.
Yeah, don't send Brandon all your questions.
No, please don't. But I'm not claiming to be psychic. I'm not claiming to be anything. I just, sometimes I have those experiences and they just happen. And I don't have control over them. I can't like trigger it for you. I can't hold your hand and tell you anything. It's not like that for me. I believe there are people who can. I'm not one, I don't think. But I do think people rub off on me sometimes, and I am able to have those experiences. Yeah. Which, I mean...
Well, and it's the power of the person who passed on, too.
Right.
Some people are dear in Clintonville, and...
Yeah. Oh, man.
And some people want to have contact.
Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's great. I haven't, knock on wood.
That sounded like a demon.
Yes, I agree, and that's why normally I don't talk about it.
And I can't believe you let me sleep there.
I know. I didn't even tell Josh for the longest time.
Oh, because I was about to say, like, what did he say when...
Yeah.
And also just, like, creepy, like, what was it doing in his room? Like,
well, and that's the thing.
Was he going through a time?
See, that's the thing, though. The next day, he asked me if I had opened his door. And I said no, because he slept with his door open.
Yeah.
So he's got a story to tell you guys too, and we will have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I haven't had an experience in a while.
Sleep with your door closed tonight?
Yeah. Oh my God, never. I always sleep with it closed. But like, I haven't had one in a while.
Yeah. I'm
sure it'll happen again. I don't think it's done. But that's why I wanted to do this podcast.
Well, I have they're not like deep dive stories, but like I have a few other little just like one-off experiences.
Yeah.
Like when I was in 4th grade, my grandpa passed away, and the night that he passed away, me and my sister slept on the floor in my parents' bedroom because, it was rough.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up in the middle of the night and like seeing a like smoky figure like forming, and it was weird because it was like I knew it was my grandpa, but it was also like really fucking terrifying. So I remember like seeing it and then just like closing my eyes shut really, really hard because I was scared,
like trying to wish it gone.
Yeah. And then I opened my eyes and it was gone.
Yeah.
But I just like had a feeling it was like him. And then that Sunday, because like at the time my family was still like going to church.
Yeah.
And that Sunday they brought my mom and my grandma up to the front, kind of like let's pray for them type thing. And I saw my grandpa's face standing behind my grandma.
Oh wow. Wow.
So that was crazy.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
That I feel like that would scare me, but at the same time like,
well, because, like, I wonder, like, if he was just there and I just happened to see him, but he was, like, there standing by my grandma.
Like, yeah.
Or if, like, his attempt to say goodbye the first time didn't work. And so, like, I don't know if that was, like, his second attempt to, like, say bye. Like, I don't know if he was there for me.
Or your grandma.
Or if he was there for my grandma and I just happened to, like, see him.
Almost like when people are like, I'll always be with you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's kind of like what it felt like. He was just like standing over her shoulder while she was up there.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was his way of letting you know too, like, hey, I'm still here with her. Like, she's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would look at it, because I feel like those things happen a lot. I feel like when someone dies, one of the first things we say, like, to that person is like, give me a sign that you're still with me. Yeah. Which, by the way, is, I get it, but also be careful with doing those types of things.
Or just go for it, man.
I don't know, dude. Because you don't want to, here's the thing, demons, things like that, I fully believe they exist, and they take advantage of those.
Well, it's also, I feel like it's about your energy, yourself, and your intentions. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you just say, hey, universe, protect me, and it's like that simple. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to be a witch. You don't have to, like...
Yeah, it's not like I think a lot of people...
do a spell for protection. Like, our minds are very, very powerful, and I think, like, your intention behind it holds a lot of power.
Well, and that's what magic was.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, we'll have a whole episode about witchcraft and things like that, but, like, I feel like that's what magic was. Magic is intention.
Yeah.
It is making something happen because of your intention. Like, you're putting it into the universe enough that it happens. Yeah. And so I think that's what magic is. I don't think it's necessarily just casting spells and things like that. That's possible, I believe, but I think it's people's intention. And
I think I told you about this story, but, like, my angel experience in Australia. I don't know what it was. So, okay, so I was living in Australia for a short period of time, and the person that I was traveling with, we went up to Cairns because we were doing a whole, like, I'm like, West Coast, East Coast, whole East Coast trip. And we were in Cairns one night, and there were some people who I had met when we were staying in Melbourne that also happened to be in Cairns. And so we were, like, hanging out with them, like, went out one night, and, like, the girl that I was traveling with, she decided to go back to our hostel we were staying at because people couldn't hang back then. I was, like, a 7 a.m. girly, like, after the club closes, let's go get fast food, let's walk around town.
She's not lying.
I mean, I have sleep issues anyway, so, like, I don't sleep. I didn't sleep back then. And so she had left, like, hours ago. And so the guy that we were hanging out with, he decided to walk me back to my hostel. And so we're, like, walking back, you know, we're a little drunk, whatever. And this guy comes up to us, and I mean, it's, like, fucking middle of the night, like 3 a.m., not a soul in sight. Yeah. We were the only ones. And then this guy comes up to us. And I mean, they have, like, homeless people there, like we do here. And he comes up, and he asks if he can show us a magic trick. So in my head, I'm thinking, dude, he didn't look homeless. Yeah. But I'm thinking, dude, once after he's going to show us this trick, and then he's going to ask for money.
For money. Right. Yeah, I get
that. But
I'm
like, we're vibing. We're drunk. Fuck it.
Let's do it. Let's see some magic. I was same, honestly. Probably not. I'd be like, he's going to stab us.
I was just like, you know what? Let's have fun.
I'm a pessimist.
It's 3 a.m. Let's have fun. And so he pulls out this deck of cards. And so we're just sitting there just, like, waiting, you know, for this magic trick. And I'm, like, thinking, like, how much cash do I have in my purse? Like, can I get $1?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Am I going to be able to pay him?
Yeah. And so he is, like, shuffling the cards, and then he has us each pick a card. And now knowing what I know, that I've, like, studied tarot more, like, now looking back, it was kind of like a tarot reading, which you can do with a normal deck of cards. Yeah. But at the time, I didn't know that. And so he has us each pull a card, and then he's, like, basically telling us, because at the time I was raised in the church, and I still identified as Christian, even though I wasn't, like, a practicing Christian. I still, like, that's just what I was comfortable with identifying as. Yeah. And I was fine with that. Like, I believed in spirituality, but I believed there was God. Yeah. And so he starts, like, telling me, like, what I believe in. Like, how would he know that? I don't know. And he's like, you're very comfortable with, like, your beliefs and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. And then the guy that was with me, he starts telling him, like, you don't know what you believe in, all this stuff. And the guy's like, yeah. And then that's when it starts getting weird, because we're like, this isn't a fucking magic trick. Like, what is going on?
Right. Like, this guy's reading us.
Yeah. We're like, why are you talking about us and, like, knowing things about us that, like, what stranger is like, I'm going to go up to these drunk people at 3 a.m. and, like, tell them things, you know? It was weird.
Not me.
And then he starts, like, talking about other stuff, too. And then he starts talking about his soulmate who lives on another planet, and they speak different languages. Ew. But they communicate telepathically. So alien. This is some alien shit. Yeah, so like... And I'm sitting here like, I I was just supposed to watch a magic trick.
Right. You're like, I'm ready for some
I
pizza.
sobered up real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it's like crazy too, because like obviously like I believe in that stuff, but this is also like back when I was like 21.
Yeah, so you were like, I don't care,
like, I
dude.
believed in it, but I wasn't even as deep as I am
Yes,
now in
correct.
it. I was like, I'm just drunk trying to have fun.
I just want a hot dog and a bag of chips at 3 a.m. Yeah.
And so
Street
I'm
meat.
just like, what is he talking about? 3 a.m. There's no one else on the street.
Like, let's not do this.
Who is this dude?
Yeah, we're not doing this. Yeah.
And so, yeah, and like is talking about like his soulmate and like they don't speak the same language, and I'm just like, what the heck? And so then he was like, okay, like I've taken up enough of your time, like have a nice night, like let you guys go. And I'm like, he's not gonna ask for money? What is going on? Like what?
Like,
you didn't actually show us a magic trick, you just read us as humans.
yeah.
So you saw into my soul, you're talking about alien shit, and then you're not gonna ask for money?
No, thank you.
What?
Yeah.
And so I'm just so taken aback that this man wanted nothing from us.
Ew.
Which I was just so confused.
Yeah.
Like you just, I don't know. It was a very
It's
spiritual
just random.
experience.
It's random. Yeah.
So random. And so he's like, okay, like let you guys go. And we just start walking and I hear him like beatbox and he's just like having a good time on the sidewalk beatboxing, and all of a sudden it stops. And I shit you not. We turned around. Dude's gone. Dude is gone. Like, I can't explain it. The guy
Like the
was
sound
coming,
just stopped?
the sound
and
stopped.
he's gone.
Well, yeah, so when he stopped beatboxing, that's why I turned around. Because
you
I
were
was
like,
like, how
is
did
he-
it just stop?
Yeah.
And then he was gone.
Oh, weird.
I just started crying. But, like, I wasn't sad. Like, I had, like, this feeling of, like, happiness. To this day, I've still never felt this. This just, like, joy that overcame me. And I was so happy, like, inside. Like, my soul felt so happy.
Yeah.
That I just broke down in tears. And so I, like, called my mom, which, mind you, like, it's middle of the night in Australia, so it's, like, middle of the day here.
Right.
I call my mom, and I'm in tears, and, of course, my mom was like, oh, my gosh, like, what happened? Whatever. Like, you're in
Are
a
you
foreign
alive?
country,
Are you
you're
okay?
crying.
What's happening?
And so I, like, tell my mom what happened, because I'm like, I have to tell someone, like, this sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And so I, like, tell my mom what happened, and I had to, like, sit outside of the hostel. So I'm, like, sitting out there on the phone with my mom. No, I don't see anyone walk past this opening out on the sidewalk. And then all of a sudden, I hear the beatboxing again. And I look, the same dude walked past, turned around, waved at me, and then kept walking. And as I'm on the phone with my mom, I'm like, Mom,
Oh my god.
I just saw this person again.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. So you think it was like a guardian angel?
I don't know if it was an angel, if he himself was an alien, why he didn't abduct me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's wild though.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, now I understand us.
Basically, I love ghosts.
Yeah.
You just
I
experience them.
prefer like good dreams.
Yeah.
Drop a message and leave.
And I'm like, sit back. Let's have some coffee.
Yeah.
Let's like open some cabinets.
No, thank you. And that is that. So, thank you guys for listening and for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yes, and we love hearing your stories. So if you have any that you want to send us, it can literally be anything paranormal. So if you want to send us your stories, it's at the Local Gayliens at outlook.com.
Well, until then,
Keep it spooky.
keep it spooky. Bye, you guys.